Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Man, we had a great second hour of the show with Mr. Smoke Fella himself, Ben Mull. And I'm telling you guys, you have to check it out. If you've ever smoked cigars and talked sports with your friends, if you've ever done that in your freaking life, you got to check the show out. That's all they do. They smoke cigars and they talk sports.
I'm telling you, man. And I keep saying because it's such a joy that I get to work with them, but it's so fun because it's not like work. It's some of the most fun conversations that I've had that listening to that they have. It's been the best working with them. But man, check that out. 11 to 1 on Saturdays. It's the best.
Man, I'm telling you, it's great stuff. And their number one rule is protect yourself at all times, because they'll come at you if you come up with some weak shit or you say something stupid. They'll come at, just like you would go after your boys if he was like, the Bears should draft, something, or they should trade and give 5 first-round picks for such a dumbass up. They ain't picking 5 first-round picks, and they'll all come at you. This is what it is. We're real. We keep it real. And I think that's what you guys love. Talk about keeping it real. Talk about keeping it 100. My next guest, guys, you've seen him on here plenty of times. He's my boy, all the way out in the CT, in the Connecticut. And he looks like he's home, man. Okay. He's home. He's working from home. Was it minus 50 over there? Man, he's from the Tape Never Lies Network. And I'm telling you, got to check his shit out. It is awesome. He breaks down film, and now he's doing position players. He breaks down a film every week, but now he's doing collages of, so he did Akeem Hicks, he's going to do Khalil Mack, and just watch their play and from throughout the season. And you talk about breaking it down. He's a high school football coach. He has a show on Saturdays with his dad called X's with the O's, the Etotians, obviously. His dad is a Hall of Fame high school football coach in Connecticut, so yeah, he knows a thing or two about football. And it gives you a look at football from a perspective of people who know football. And it's a phenomenal show. You can check it out. And it's our boy. You can find him on Twitter at Fulfill All, but he's an IG guy. So go to him on Instagram at Phil_Toshin. Guys, let's bring him out. Our boy DDP himself, not this DDP, but it is DDP, the draft doctor, Phil Toshin. Phil, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's up? Keeping it 100 to this morning.
We are, man. We are. And you know what?
Like a Philly blunt.
No, don't get Evan started, dude. Stop.
That was one of my lyrics back in the day.
What?
Philly, but I'm blunt.
See, people don't know your story, dude. Like a lot of people don't know your story. And they're like, what do you mean that was one of your lyrics? That's hilarious.
Yeah, all of our songs on our network, the intros and everything, are all original music. And we hired I just got off the phone with him, a new musical director on our network, Cool Kennedy. He's been producing our, with me, collaborating lyric. I was a rapper. Yeah, we collab, and the X's with the O's, that song intro. Every show we have a special intro, like keeping it 100, all of that stuff. I just feel like you got to be different, but you also have to have a lot of fun, as you're talking about with your boys. That's how there's no script on our network. We just, whatever we're delving into is what it is we're going to talk about. And then it could go anywhere. That's what keeping it 100 is. And then obviously my video breakdowns are focused on whoever we're focusing it on. Defense, offense, or like you said, X's with the O's in the off season with our patron program is a focus. Like this weekend, we're focusing on edge rushers. So we're going to break down all of the edge rushers this weekend, not just Mac. We're going to look at Robert Quinn and what's the story, the true story of Robert Quinn. A lot of these blog boys, I call them, just want to see sacks. They want to see sacks. But there's a lot more to football than just a sack. And we're going to look at Robert Quinn, put a microscope on him, the young kid, Gibson, the rookie from Tulsa. We're going to look at him. Mingo, is he somebody we want to bring back? We're going to look at some of the positives and negatives of all of your edge rush voters, Quinn, of course, the greatest, Khalil Mack. You're going to see what he does. And that's really X's with the O's. All offseason going to be focusing in on this roster, doing what Ryan Pace and Nagy should be doing. And your boy, Mark Sadowski. I got to turn my mic here. I was a little echoey. Mark, and looking at self-scouting to prepare yourself and this football team for the offseason. That's really, we're doing their job. And I know through the sources, a lot of the Bears management and players watch our network, watch our shows. So I have to be on top of my game or I'm going to get trolled. I don't want to get trolled by one of them. So that's what we do. So original music. Yes, I used to rap. I had a rap record deal back in the 90s. And that's a whole another show. Shane, actually, my partner, was like, we're always thinking in the box about doing shows. And I want to do a hip hop show just on hip hop with MCs new and old and have Cool Kennedy and me bringing on these people and do that and just talk about hip hop. Like you love hip hop music. I love it. If without it, like football and hip hop are the foundation of our network for me. That's where I get all my creative. So when you see my video breakdowns, the culture is hip hop. That's why I always put that beat behind me when you go onto the network. Exactly. And I appreciate that, Dub. It's for me, it's my gospel. It motivates me. So we have fun. We fight over who's better in MC and that stuff, and really bring on MCs like Rakim and get some of these old heads back to where they should be. And I'm stealing from Cool. I know I'm going off topic here, but I wanted to share this because you share the same affiliation with growing up in that time and how important the music was for us. For me, he made the point, which was tremendous. Like, you got Kiss, right? The rock group, metal, whatever, Kiss. And then you got a guitar. Let's think of somebody, Rolling Stones, right? Those are two different sounds, right? But they're under rock, right? But nobody says that Rolling Stones is whack. They're old. They don't say that. You have an appreciation. With hip hop, you see a lot of these young bucks. That shit's whack. That shit's whack. So it should never be that. There should be an appreciation for the roots of that music and what it means. And that's really probably sharing my idea. Someone's going to steal it. But I want to do a show on our network of the culture of hip hop and bring on MCs and really promote it. When you have a stage or a forum, you got to do stuff like that. So, and then Shane was thinking about doing a sit down interview. Who is Sean Sierra? And talk about the person like you're doing now. My story, Forrest Gump, my wife calls me. What my story is. Hip hop and Hofstra football and all of it.
Yeah,
coaching.
See, people don't know that, and that's awesome. And you know what? And that's funny that he was thinking that, because that's one of the things that we definitely want to do is similar, is very similar, is get interviews with people, get more, and to add content. Because people don't know, they know you as a draft doctor, but they don't know who you are. They don't know your backstory. Like some people are probably like, holy shit, you were a rapper? Get out of here. And when you tell, like you told me, like some of the acts that you were performing with, like on the same night and home backstage with, they'd be like, get the hell out of here. Like when I tell my story, like when I lived in New York and I was at a birthday party, my roommate's girlfriend, her sister worked for Def Jam. Okay, so he was like, yeah, let's go to this, it's for Rhonda's party, blah, blah, blah. So we get there, and dude, you name it, every rapper in the scene was there. Right. I'm talking Biggie, Tupac, Russell, LL. I mean, all these guys were there. Like, holy cow. Like, I'm sitting there, and I'm drinking, and I'm like, this is surreal to me, because, like, I listened to you on the radio. Heavy D was there, like, God rest his soul, rest in peace. I'm like, I listened to you on the radio. I danced to you, I'm like, like, holy cow. And then was it MC Light was there? Dude, you name it, they were there.
That's
it.
Dude, Light, I got a funny story about Heavy D. So I'm a freshman in high school. Okay. We used to go to this football camp, Long Island football camp, it was called, out on Long Island, obviously. It was at CW Post College. Okay. Then it went to Hofstra. It moves and it'll go up. But I met Heavy D. I was a freshman. He was a fucking offensive tackle, defensive tackle from money earning Mount Vernon High School.
Yep.
Now, Mount Vernon High School got off the bus coming into the camp, right, with their maroon pants on. Like, we're just checking in. They got off the bus and they're hitting their pads like, boom, 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 boom. You know, they're coming in. Everyone's like, what the hell? They intimidated the whole camp, right? So Heavy D happened to be there. So he's there, and everyone's talking about this young guy, this player, Heavy D. This dude tackled me. So I was tackled as a freshman by Heavy D. That's my only meeting with him. And then he became one of my biggest, I loved Heavy D. I remember the technology at camp. There was a video jukebox, and you could put 4 quarters in and see a video. And I thought it was the coolest thing, like technology. Holy cow. And you Heavy D, Mr. Big Stuff. And I was able to watch the video. And this was the guy that tackled me. Anyway, it all comes together. Heavy D, Shawn and Maya in the morning, football.
The draft doctor.
Draft doctor. Swag. I'm wearing swag. We got swag. We got everything going on. And I'm so excited to be here with you because obviously the off season, so much sources and all of this.
One of my sources said, according to sources, the sources say,
dude, I made a parody. I made a parody source thing using clips of DMs that people were sending me, and I clipped it and put it together, and I put a joke in there. It was like, according to my source, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer Stone, and then Eversource is telling me, and people were believing that it was all about Wentz. And they're like, "You're being a hypocrite. You're not." I go, I can't even be sarcastic now. You can't get my humor. I don't do sources.
Get him off the air. Get him off the internet, you jerk.
Exactly.
I
don't have a source. I do hear from people, but I will say, I'll be very careful to say, according to my guy that I know, or I don't use the word source. Exactly. I don't do that. I don't like the source thing because it gets people's hopes up in anticipation of what it is. Like the only time when I saw the David Montgomery tweet go out, my heart skipped a beat.
God, man.
And then I went to a source, which was Rashad Whitfield, who works with him. Exactly. That was me right there. That was me right there. And he was like, Phil, he's just playing around. And then he went to tweet it out and said, recant. Come on, guys. I'm
playing with you.
I think players need to like feel loved, especially David, because Matt Nagy forgets him so often. So maybe he needed to
forget his name, Phil. He might have forgot his name. Hey, Daniel, you're in.
32. That's what I did when I forgot one of my players' names. Yes. 32. Get over you. It happens sometimes, but
and then you have to do that in practice in a regular game. Like I know your name, Ken. And just go in. Just so it seems like just to kind of cover your ass because there's some guys are like 57. Get in, card. This little coach hack right there. Just you call that a number. Just man.
Max Kellerman was a rapper. I didn't know that.
Yes, he was.
He was.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. That's funny. I do remember that. That's hilarious.
So I have my old demo tape, but it sounds so shitty that I don't want to play it ever because it's just it doesn't give it the quality. It was a great, well, not great, but it was good. It got me signed. But the reality is I don't have the dude that freaking did what he did to me took the DAT, it was called, the digital audio something. I forget the T, but it was like probably, and it was like this big, Sean. It was about that big. And you're like, holy cow. Like, again, it was at the beginning of this dude. The producers had Mac computers, and the beat track had dots. I could still see it like it was yesterday. I'm like, holy, this is amazing. Because I was sitting there beatboxing on one track on a 4-track machine to get your beat, then playing a piano bass line and having your friends do stuff to make your, music in middle school and high school. And then ultimately get to that point where obviously I could do everything on my phone now. It's like a portable recording studio. $50 million studios on your iPhone now. That's how incredible it is.
$50 million studios only cost $1,000 now.
Exactly. Price went down. Technology went up. That's the one area where it went up, but went down in price for you. So
I just got you see, I got.
Look at this.
So I went to the Bulls. Oh,
what is it? Number 12?
No, that's
iPhone 12. What is it?
12. Yeah, the iPhone 12.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of the screensavers, I went to the ChicagoBulls.com, and what you can do is you can create your own jersey. So they have the red jersey, the black jersey. Actually, the black jersey from the 90s, the late 90s. They had the pinstripes. And then they have the new the new City Edition jersey, which looks like a movie type deal. They're bluish and gold. So I have all those three. So I switch them out every couple of days. So when I tap and open my phone, I have Sierra 33.
That's my high school jersey behind me. 22.
Oh yeah.
The double deuces was my number that I tried to carry through everything I played. I tried to wear 22. I wanted 34, obviously for sweetness, and then a senior on the midget football team, the higher squad had 34. And when I got to high school, a senior had it. When it came available, I'm like, no, I'm just going to roll with my 22. I'm wearing it everywhere. And that's that story, Shawn. 22. So I always support our 22s. It was hard with Matt Forte because he made a lot of business decisions. I get people fired up. I got him fired. He blocked me because I said if I had to choose between Montgomery and him, I'm 100 out of 100. I'm going Montgomery. That's how much I love what Montgomery brings to the table as opposed to Matt Forte. Right. Matt Forte was a great back, but he just did.
He wasn't your style. He wasn't your style of back.
He didn't. You know what? He didn't have this. I'm telling you. He picked and choose when he wanted to play with this. That's what the tape showed me. He could have been even better, but if you look at him in his career, this is a guy that, 3rd and 1, he's not dipping pads.
No, you don't give it to him on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, he did not.
Remember, because that's why they sign people like Marion Barber.
Yes, they always were looking for the big guy. It's not like this is the tape that I'm watching, and I'm like, that's why they're doing it. They know it too. This guy obviously had a gear, but you know what? David Montgomery has more 50-yard runs than he's had in his career.
And you know what's really funny is you think about that, and one of the one of the guys who was not big at all, but you could never see them not giving the ball on 3rd and 1 was Marshall Faulk.
Oh my God, yes, because he had an instinctive and a drive to do it. I met Marshall Faulk at a freaking Foot Locker in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I was at Hofstra University, and I go, holy that's Marshall Faulk. He was with this R&B singer. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Aaliyah, though. It was an R&B singer. And he was there, and he was literally
he's not tall.
2 inches taller than me. And he had no chisel to him. There was you meet an NFL back, and you're like, this
him and Emmitt Smith didn't have a lot of chisel.
He had no chisel. You would have thought he was working at the Foot Locker. I swear to God. It's a true story. I'm like, we walked out of there. I was with 4 of my teammates, all of them from the Bronx. They're like, that dude just looks like a dude. I go, bro, you're 100%. This guy right here, Thomas Jones, Dub, you're on the money.
Dude, he looks like he's chiseled out of clay. Like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? You're fake. Like, you're fake, dude. Like, stop. You're fake. You're fake. You can't be
God
that.
Gave that guy the freaking metabolism, whatever.
Dude, yeah.
We had him on our show once. He was great. He was actually working on the Netflix series. He was on what was it?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. Thank you. He was on Luke Cage, and dude was a great dude, and he got emotional. I got him to cry. I felt like Roy Firestone. He was talking about the Super Bowl, and I was like, listen, I got to keep it 100 with you. How does Lovey take you out of the game? You just ran 30 yards, 15 yards. You could tell the rhythm was there. And he was telling us that Ron Turner, was it? They had like a count. So Benson had to go in on a certain series. So they took him out exactly when he was vibing. And if you remember, Benson had the fumble.
He hurt his vagina. Oh, I can't say that. Me too.
He did speak highly of Cedric. He kept it 100. He said we had our issues. We had our issues together, but Cedric really worked his ass off. It was tough, but you knew as a coach, the Bears had an opportunity there, especially with Devin returning that opening kick. The momentum was there. Chris Harris, people forget, Harris intercepts the ball. Now you got the ball back up 7-0, right? You got an opportunity. They
put him away early.
Cedric Benson in the game. He fumbles it back to him. That erases that turn.
Like nails to a chalkboard. It's like nails to a chalkboard right now. Because I'm literally living it in my chest.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It was hard for him. He's got teary-eyed, and you've seen him since. I go, I'm so proud of you for keeping it 100. He sat there for a minute to gather. And he was like, it really bothers me because we never got there again. You never get, and you wanted it so bad. And that's the kind of play. I mean, Forte, Thomas Jones. I mean, for me, it's going to be Thomas Jones.
Why don't the Bears respect their number one running backs in Super Bowls? Why don't they?
Oh, there's
wow.
Now you're going deep.
Now you got a rabbit hole. Holy cow. I feel that because when I was in high school, I was telling the guy segment before, we had 3 guys who played in the Chicago Catholic League. It was me, Kenneth, and Ben.
I love Kenneth.
And so we had all played at different schools, and it was the state semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 4 was us, Mount Carmel, East St. Louis, and I forgot who East St. Louis was playing. Out of the 4 of us, there was 1 loss between us. We were undefeated. Carmel was undefeated. East St. Louis was undefeated, and whoever East St. Louis played had 1 loss. And I was named the Catholic League MVP. The first time I touched the ball in that Carmel game was a muddy mess. But I was a good runner. I had really good balance, and I wasn't super fast, which is not good for the run. I was a sure-footed back. My first carry, I had a 33-yard touchdown run. Crazy. I had 7 carries that game. 7. How do you stop giving the Catholic League MVP the ball? How do you only give him 7 carries in a track that's built? And don't get me wrong, I was good on dry grass too and on turf as well. All right, but my guy Paul, I was a mutter. My mother was a mutter. Okay.
My father would call you a mutter for.
And I had 7 carries, dude. And we, your senior year. Mount Carmel went on to win the state championship that year. They played East St. Louis, who came from they came from down south, and the bracket that they had was so much easier. Mount Carmel blew them out, and we would have done the same thing. So I get it when you don't get the carries. It's so funny. So my mom first moved out to Orland. Okay,
mm-hmm.
Our head coach, Coach Burnett, left St. Rita. He went to Homer Flossman. Then he went out to Lockport. Okay, mm-hmm. It's a southwestern suburb from here. And she saw him at the Jewel, which is a few miles away. And he remembered my mom because she was at all the games. Like, hi, Miss Sierra. She goes, she was so proud. She goes, I didn't even say hello to him. She goes, I'm still mad at him. I'm like, Mom, that was like 20 years ago, right?
She's holding that grudge.
Dude, she's holding. It's like a vice grip, dude. Crazy. And listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we got more.
7 carries? That
7
sounds
carries.
like Matt Nagy might be called.
We got more sports conversations, more Bears talk, and more stories.
There he is.
There he is with the draft doctor himself, Phil Toshin. Keep it locked right here, Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash
on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Devastating loss to the Blackhawks last night. Columbus used a 4-goal third period to come back for a 6-5 win. Kevin Stenlund with the game-winning goal came with a minute 14 left. The victory stopped Chicago's 3-game winning streak. Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat each with a goal and 2 assists for Chicago, which dropped to 4-2-1 at home. Chicago defenseman Connor Murphy could be out for up to 2 weeks with a right hip injury. Forward Andrew Shaw in the league's concussion protocol. Teams will play again Saturday night. The Bulls looking to make it 2 straight wins tonight when they host the Clippers at United Center. Chicago 10-14 overall, set for a Clippers squad that comes in third in the Western Conference, just 2.5 games out of first place behind the Lakers and the Jazz.
Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Macy's Star Money Bonus Days are happening now. It's a special time when Star Rewards members earn bonus points and get to their next reward faster. You'll get $10 in Star Money for every $50 spent with your Macy's card, or $10 in Star Money for every $100 spent as a bronze member. So go on and shop the sweetest gifts for them, then earn Star Money for yourself. Now through February 15th. Macy's Star Rewards. It's how we love you back. Visit Macys.com/Star Money for exclusions and details.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. You are powerful. You're a warrior who bathes in your enemy's tears. Then you step out of that refreshing tear bath and into a bathrobe that somehow looks good on you. Yeah, you can pull off a robe. There. Don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you save money for driving safely with Snapshot from Progressive. Savings you can use to buy more robes. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. We're joined by our good friend, the draft doctor himself, Phil Toshin from the Tape Never Lies Network. Talking a little Bears and reminiscing, going down memory lane a little bit, and talking high school, college.
You fit in perfect with me because we don't need a script to talk Bears or sports.
We don't.
Football, college, music. Ivan fits right into. I love it. I love it. I was a teammate. Rain Corbett, I saw Samurai. He was not only was he my teammate, but for one semester, he was my Hofstra suite mate. And they had this
heart, sweet mate.
Yeah, he was my sweet mate. He actually took me on my recruiting visit there. Funny story. After about 2 hours, he pawned me off on some other guy.
Probably because they're going after some girls.
Right. That's exactly what
That's what you
he
do.
had this girl, man.
That's what you do.
He had a girl. Let's just say that. He had that girl that everybody was looking at in the bar because they had their own bar on campus.
Okay.
It was amazing. The campus. They had the athletic young bucks and the athletes stayed at Colonial Square, it was called.
Okay.
So he took me around. He pawned me off on another guy. And he went and probably split because the coaches would give you money to take these recruits. Funny story. I took Raheem Morris on his recruit visit.
No way. Nice.
Yeah. Raheem now. Where's he? The DC now? He was the temporary coach with the Redskins. And now he's the DC. I think he went out west somewhere. Is he with the 49ers? He's somewhere now. He took over as a DC.
Yeah.
Well, young Raheem came in as a defensive back, and I was taking him around. But anyway, Wayne Corbett was my suite mate, and I would kick the living hell out of him in Madden. And at that time, Bill Walsh's college football, and he would get so mad that he would just break his joystick. But that dude,
I think it's the Rams. The Rams. He's
with the Rams. He took over with the Rams on the West Coast. So I got the coast right. He's with the Rams. Yeah. So, yeah, I took him on his recruiting visit. And Corbett was you could just tell back then what kind of football player that kid was. His father was an ex-bodybuilder, and he was like Thomas Jones. Just genetically, he had the cut-ups. This kid was 5'10". Funny story. It was me, him, and Jeff Bacchetti playing Pete Carroll and his coaching staff on a 3-on-3 tournament. Pete Carroll brings in one of his players, his safety, McMillan, Todd McMillan, something McMillan. He was number 22 for the Jets. He played for the Oklahoma, the Aggies. I got to look it up as a ringer. So we're down to the championship. Pete Carroll, because the Jets were at Hofstra at the time.
That's right. That's
Pete
right.
Carroll's playing us, and he's on me, Pete Carroll. And he's pinching me, Sean. And he's pushing me. He's got to win no matter what. So, funny story, Wayne Corbett dunks at 5'10" on Pete Carroll. And Pete Carroll ended up leaving there. And another coach was the guy who ended up who was it? The former Eagles coach. I forget.
Not Dick Vermeil.
Not Dick Vermeil. He took over the Jets for 1 year. People hated him with the Eagles. But Aaron Glenn was the key reason why Wayne Corbett made the Jets. Aaron Glenn was an all-pro, and Wayne, on a tryout, he couldn't cover Wayne. And the coaches had Rich Kotite. Richie Kotite.
Yep.
Never forget it. So there you go, Samurai. I'm all about football and stories and the shit like that. But that's where it was. That's where,
So give me your thoughts, man. Talk to me about this quarterback carousel. First was Deshaun Watson, and then I was like, no, that's a little too much. And then it was oh shoot, I can't even think. Carson Wentz. That was Carson Wentz, and then now it's not Carson Wentz. Now it's Marcus Mariota, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston. Dude, what the hell are the Bears going to do with this quarterback position? Because you can't keep Nick Foles. That dude's horrible. No. And you still need a left tackle.
Oh yeah.
Do you keep that 20 pick and go after a stud left tackle? Do you bring Mitch back? Although you saw the reports that Mitch doesn't want to come back, the organization doesn't want him back, so that ship has sailed. What do you do?
Ship's gone. First of all, the Mitch ship has sailed. I've said this several weeks ago. Just through the tea leaves, no sources. Then I ended up speaking to somebody very close with the family, and that relationship is torn. They put this kid as the problem. He ironically saves Matt Nagy's job by them changing up with Bill Lazor the style that Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan philosophy, and that's what Mitch fits. So that ship is gone in regards to, you never say never in this league. I've learned that, but there's no repairing the quarterback relationship with the head coach. So Brian Griese had no qualms sharing the truth of what was going on, even with Nick Foles questioning the head coach. That became, a taboo thing in the media. A former player, like, you don't do that. Well, Griese did it, and it was a showcase where Nick Foles even stood with head coach Matt Nagy. That's the thing, Sean. The QB carousel, the quandary. We did a show. We had Mark Schofield. I don't know if you got to see the show, but Mark is a tremendous QB analyst, and you should have him on this show. If you need me to set him up, his analysis and his views on the quarterback position. Listen, I don't blow smoke. I only try to talk when somebody's really outstanding at what they do. I didn't agree with everything Mark had to say. That's just par for the course. But his analysis, his work ethic, and the person that he is just tremendous. And he was saying, he left me more concerned about the quarterback fit with Matt Nagy's philosophy and what he's trying to do. He threw Matt Nagy under the bus, Sean. You got to check it out when you get a second. Okay. This past Wednesday's Keep It at 100 with Mark Schofield of USA Today. He used to write for Pro Football Weekly, and he actually was the guy covering Mitch Trubisky for 2 years, just breaking down. He's got Matt Nagy's playbook. When you hear the stories about Matt Nagy's playbook alone is worth, go over to our network YouTube channel, check out Mark Schofield. I'll tell Mark to come on this show with you because he's perfect. The reality is everybody's on the table still. So except Mitch Trubisky, in my mind, you keep hearing all of these things. Like, I worked for an NFL agent, so I know the floating of the bobber. So you put the bobber in the water, let it float until the fish bite it. That's what the agent's job is to do, is to set interest out there. So Watson's interested in Denver and San Francisco. Well, that forces the Bears, the Jets, the Patriots, and everybody. Wait a second. What about us? What are they offering? Well, you're playing a game to get your client to a point with which there's absolutely best offers to negotiate money and opportunity. Obviously, as an agent, you want to steer your player the right way. When you look at the Chicago Bears, they're dead men walking. So you have to have a savior come in here to be able to do what no one has been able to do. Win consistently at the quarterback position in Chicago. It becomes a dead, place, so to speak, with the amount of quarterbacks. Why Ryan Pace chose Trubisky over Watson and Mahomes. Why he still has a job. Think about that. You missed 2 generational talents in the same draft. Mike Glennon, Brian Hoyer. Look at the history. Matt Barkley. These are all misses at the most important position. So when you ask me, offensive tackle at 20, yeah, it's important. Who breaks down Leno and his mess ups more than me? In fact, next Saturday, I'm going to have Steve Edwards, my dad, and myself just breaking down offensive tackles for the Bears to show you that tape with people who have played the position, coached it, break it down. So, yeah, that's a huge need, but nothing is going to trump this quarterback position. And when you have a desperate coach and a desperate GM to prove they're collaborating and save face for the organization, then you're going to do and go all in. Now, done deal with Wentz, Tariq Cohen, that changed. Another offensive player, that changed. So nobody knows nothing. Nobody knows nothing. All I know is that the Bears are in on everybody. How do we rank them? That was the essence of the show. So where Mark ranked them differently than I did, I will share one guy that nobody's talking about that I really see. Obviously, he's not going to sell tickets. He's not going to freaking have a parade and win the headlines, but it's Jacoby Brissett. This is a guy that I feel like shows me the anticipation throws, is tough as hell. He's physical. He's been in the New England philosophy. He's been in this offensive philosophy with the Colts, with Frank Reich. So he knows your offensive philosophy. Obviously, your terminology is going to be a little different. But this is somebody that could be that quarterback that you draft a quarterback. You draft 2 quarterbacks. You get the quarterback position right because you've never gotten it right. Every time you've gotten a swing at that plate, Cade McNown comes in. Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton. These guys are guys, right? Their names. Brian Greasy was a quarterback here. You look at it's an amazing journey when you go through Shane Mathers, Jim Miller, free agents, all of these signed, the draft. Moses Moreno, Cordell Stewart, Jeff Blake, Jeff George took snaps here. You look at, they can't get it right. So you got to get it right. You got to do everything in your power. That's why that draft was so important to get it right. And you didn't. That's where this is it. You draw the line, you shut it down, you fire Nagy, you fire Pace, and you get to the place where you're able to get a free, clean slate with a coach that says, this is the quarterback that I want. This is the quarterback. I like Jacoby Brissett drafting a quarterback. If not, do you think they can rehash things with Teddy Bridgewater? That's another thing. Everybody's waiting for the domino. Stafford, great shit, Kingley. Stafford domino didn't make the dominoes fall. Right. So say Derek Carr gets traded, right? And Watson goes to the Raiders. Now Mariota's getting traded. Now all of the dominoes in the movement is Sam Darnold. These are things like Sam Darnold. I'm a big fan of Sam Darnold. He's 23 years old. He's younger than Joe Burrow. He's got NFL, and you're in a miserable, miserable situation with the Jets, with a guy that's probably worse a fraud than Nagy in Adam Gase. He's done nothing. He got hyped under Peyton Manning. I'm stealing from Schofield. Me, Ivan, and you could have had Peyton Manning. We would have been geniuses, right? The guy knows it backwards and forward. You didn't develop him. You got a reference for your, what do we say? The old boys network. Peyton says he's really great. The next guy's like, he must be really great, right?
Yeah. Hey, so speaking of Sam Darnold, because I like he's on my radar as well. Because like you said, if one guy's available, everybody's available.
Everybody's available. I'm telling you,
it's going to start moving. So I like Sam Darnold as an idea to be a quarterback for the Bears. But like to look at it, because people are like, "Oh man, Sam Darnold's quarterback of the Jets." I see it more as look at what that kid did with that shit team. It was not his fault. Like the Jets' flaws are way deeper than just Sam Darnold. So I refuse to believe that Sam Darnold is a bad player. We just haven't been able to properly evaluate him on a team that could give him anything to help him out, especially a defense.
I totally agree. Even with Carson Wentz, I watch Carson Wentz's tape, I watch Sam Darnold's tape, and I see the absolute thing. Jacoby Brissett, I see the things that I know as a football coach, as an offensive guy. Those are the traits that I can build on. Now I got to build around them through my offense. What are the important steps? I can't. It's just like those guys that scout schools. You can't take a Penn State running back and then a Saquon Barkley comes around. You're going to miss on that? Or you can't take an Alabama quarterback. Well, now I love this kid, Mac Jones. Like, he's one of my favorite. I've said this in October. Now it's becoming convenient. And Shane, my partner, same thing. Talking about Mac Jones. Now Mac Jones is being talked about everywhere. The point that you're making, that I'm trying to fill in this gap for people and fans that are going to just look at PFF scores and their stories and these blog boys that write narratives about these quarterbacks, they're missing the point. The tape never lies. You have to see, do they have the elements of pre-snap understanding football and post-snap understanding football? If your coach sucks at giving your quarterback pre-snap identifiers, then you get to the point where you're just a fan looking at fantasy stats saying, Darnold sucked with the Jets. He only got me 85 points. That's not how it works. What are they doing? They're doing a miserable job coaching pre-snap reads to make the job for the quarterback either. Let's just look at the GOAT. Okay, the GOAT has earned his respect because of what he does. But what he does pre-snap is he gets out of the huddle and he's got fucking 28 seconds. Right? Now he's got 28 seconds. He's recognized their motion. They trade. Now he knows he's identified the coverage. They already understand where he's going to go with the football. And if they double team to take away, because the defense gets paid as well, if they decide, we know pre-snap, he's going to want to go here. If they run in motion, he's going to want to go there. So our job is to take away where he wants to go. The great ones get to the point. I pre-snap read it. I understand I'm going to go there. Oh, the safety jumped over it. Now I got to go to my second read. All of that is why this position is not only the most difficult in all of sport, but it's the most important in all of sport, because it's that moment that they're touching the ball every single solitary play that you have to identify who has it up here. Johnny Manziel, perfect example. On tape, that kid extended plays. He won the Heisman. It wasn't a popularity contest because no one liked the guy, because it turns out he was a POS off the field. He didn't have it here. So it's important, the GM who doesn't sit down with Deshaun Watson to talk to him. There's several stories, whatever you want to believe. But you sit down with someone right away. Like I sit down and I talk to Sean Sierra right away. I know the integrity, the work ethic, and the person that he is. And that's in 45 minutes. I'm going to know the very foundation of what makes him tick. That's important. Now the tape becomes The second most important. Who is this guy as a person? Who is he as a competitor? The GOAT is the ultimate. I can't even believe people hate on that guy now. What does he have to do? But anyway, Sam Darnold, Ivan's point, I see so many things that the Jets lacked. Like when you get a kid like that, you got to give him more. Now, the same thing with the Bears. Same thing with the Bears. John Fox wanted Watson. Ryan Pace, Ernie Accorsi and company, and all of those guys wanted Trubisky. They didn't then turn around and say, who's going to work with this guy that we invested to get the best out of him? They said, Kansas City has a great offense. Kansas City. Andy Reid's telling me, Andy Reid, the same guy who can't figure out he's got no tackles in a Super Bowl. You got to run the ball, Andy. Can't be throwing it freaking 48 times, but he did, and he lost. And no matter who you have at quarterback, you saw it in the Super Bowl. Is Mahomes tremendous? Yeah, he got shot. Why? They pressured him. They didn't run the football. And he is an idiot because he forgets running the goddamn ball is the most important asset to a quarterback to help him get those pre-reads. Darnold definitely needs to be in the conversation. If he's, Adam Schefter said Saleh and them, once they committed, obviously it was tenacious with Gase that, Darnold was going to stay once Saleh came over but everybody I'm told is on the table. So I like Sam Darnold. I'm okay with that. I see a lot of Wentz hate. I want to clear that up for a second.
Okay.
Wentz, once you've done it, that's the impetus to tell me that he has the capability to do it, right? You have a student. You got to be a great teacher. You got to be a great teacher to all of these. You look at the greatest of all times at anything. Michael Jackson needed someone kissing his ass and patting him on the back, telling him you could do it. And this is how you're going to, every person needs that. Okay. So what happened in the Philadelphia, the culture, the locker room, the shitty, we know Alshon Jeffrey. We know him from here, his shitty attitude. We know they had nobody helping him, and we know the kid got hurt and there was drama there. So you can't always judge and read that book by its cover. You got to go do the tape work. There's 2017 tape that this kid's MVP quality. MVP quality. They're going to the Super Bowl, Shawn. Someone else he gets hurt. Somebody else took his job, carried it over. The narrative changed. You don't think that would cause some sort of rift in your culture? Now you're going to give it back to him. You trade Foles to Jacksonville, and whatever happened with injury affects it. So you got to hope you sit down with Carson Wentz. You see where he's at. You get away from all the narratives and the blog boys. He's a douche. Players don't like him, and yada, yada, yada. Now, this is my favorite. So I'll finish this, and then I'll talk about Russell Wilson with you, because I'll say this. Just don't be biased to Wentz. I'll break down the tape on Wentz. I'll do it with you, Shawn. Me and you could do it together and show the audience. These are the things. If they move on Wentz, that's what I'm doing. I'll show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of Wentz. But there's a lot more to like about Wentz than people are saying. That's all I'm going to clear up. And I know.
Well, you said it, Phil. When you're a leading MVP, you're the leading MVP candidate, and you're probably going to win the MVP before you get hurt. That shows what you got.
Right.
And now the issue is for the Bears, and the issue that I have is this, and it's the one that's going to be consistent. Is Matt Nagy going to get his stupid freaking dirty fingers off the goddamn offense? Because if you let Bill Lazor run this offense, Bill Lazor seems to be able to adapt this play calling. Some of it Nagy's plays, but now that he's the offensive coordinator again, now he can incorporate some more of his plays. So now he's saying, okay, this works for Mitch, so let's use this. This doesn't work for Mitch, let's not use it. That's what he did. So now if you get Wentz, if you get Watson, if you get Mariota, if you get Carr, if you get whoever the hell you get, he's going to say, okay, now here's what I have. Now I'm going to watch film on him. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is what he does well. So you know what? Here are the plays that we have. Here, I'll create plays. Here are the plays that we have that don't fit what he does. So we're not going to use those very much, if ever. Then he's gonna drill those home. Then he's gonna create a game plan and say, okay, so he hits a deep ball. Okay, so let's work with him mid to intermediate routes first. Okay,
right,
and get everybody, because they know he gets over the deep ball. So they're gonna cover it. But now if he's killing you, and now you're getting yak. Guy catches it, runs 20 yards. Now you're gonna have to bring somebody up a little bit to cover the middle, and that's when you go deep. That's when you save it for 3rd and 7, and you got to score a touchdown. You need this first down. That's when you throw that play. He's going to set plays up. Matt Nagy does not set plays up. Matt Nagy says, "Oh, here's a good play to call here." Boom. But there's nothing behind it. Every play you have,
curl flat.
Every play you have should have a deeper route. Okay, should have a secondary play or secondary read off of it that you hold for when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have it. Or if it's not, it's in a series of plays that's going to lead to that play that you need late in the game for that key third game to keep that drive going on 4th and 6 or something. That doesn't have. That's what I'm bothered with, Phil. That this guy's not good. That he's going to get back into.
That's the point.
Take it away from Laser and then do his own thing. And then it doesn't matter who we have. Then we're still going to suck.
That's the key point. And when I saw Mike Halatek's Russell Wilson, okay, there's 2 guys that you could trade for that can overcome Matt Nagy's aloof play calling. Because I want to tie this all together. Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. Those are the 2 guys that can overcome Matt Nagy's play calling, if that's going to happen, where it's curl flat. Everything, there's no rhyme or reason for the use of formations. Matt Nagy would just be in trips. The next play, he's in 3 tight ends, and they're running the same kind of concept, curl flat. There's no understanding of how to use formations when I watch Matt Nagy's play. And I've said this for 3 years, even when they won the division. I've seen it always with Matt Nagy. So that's the concern, to your point. It doesn't matter who. Those are the only 2 guys that I feel like they can overcome Matt Nagy's stupidity and gimmickry. The other guys, though, are fits when they're tough in the pocket. There's plays where Jacoby Brissett is being grabbed and pulled, and he's pulling away from it and still delivering the football, finding an open man, understanding pre-snap. Same thing with Carson Wentz. Sam Darnold has put together some of the most beautiful throws I've witnessed watching a quarterback. That gets you hyped up. So it's important. This is the biggest, most crazy situation the Chicago Bears have ever been in before, because they chose to keep Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy and believe in them while they're desperate. So what is desperation going to do with the team? They can't go and draft a young quarterback and we're going to give Matt time. That ain't going to work. The fans are going to lose their mind. I mean, they could probably do anything. After we saw that bullshit presser, they could do it anything. But I'll tell you right now, if you want to win football games, you're going to have to make this quarterback position right. I'll say this about Russell Wilson. Mark was on, and I didn't agree with him in one part. I just think Russell Wilson is the only guy, and this will show you how much I like Russell Wilson, that I would be willing to trade David Montgomery in order to get, because I feel like he's that big of a game changer for this franchise. The leader, the competitor, the timing pass, the ability to escape, extend plays, find open men, and find those window on those levels. When you look at a football field, there's certain levels. Mm-hmm. Mitch Trubisky had a tough time understanding an anticipation throw on a level. So what I mean by that, conceptually, when you alleviate the pocket, there's 2 levels. There's a tight end dragging, or 3 levels. Tight end, a fullback in the flat, or not a fullback here, a wing in the flat, tight end dragging, and then you got the deeper route. So you have to look at those levels and understand and anticipate the open window to deliver them. A lot of times Mitch would wait and you'd see the ball carry, and now you got that fourth defender, which is the sideline, which he made more difficult. Instead of getting outside the pocket, 1, 2, 3, boom, deliver. And you see Aaron Rodgers doing it. He threatens the ball all the way down the football field, and he becomes a terrorist to your defense instead of a relief. Thank God Mitch got out of the pocket and he threw it to the sideline. And man, they got 8 yards when they could have had 48. That's the difference. With Russell, he'll get out of the pocket. All of a sudden, you got 3 guys dragging, and one guy, as Shawn's saying, is going and releasing, looking like he's running to the post, and then presses on the hash straight up the field, and Russell dimes it right there to him. Those types of big play chunks, as Matt Nagy, big plays are nice. He loves them. Well, you're going to get those, and that's where Russell and Deshaun Watson offer that same kind of style, if you will, and ability to get the ball down the field on those levels versus those zones. Because once Mitch got a zone, his ability to do things that you want to see Mitch do, that's where you heard them always talking about. Yeah, well, we didn't like that coverage. They're talking about getting zoned off, where Mitch wasn't as accurate, didn't have the level awareness and anticipation that you want to see from the quarterback, where somebody like Russell Wilson will give you that, and Deshaun Watson. So I know Greg Gabriel is talking that Deshaun Watson ain't getting traded. He's going to do what he has the control, not to the extent of the Houston Texans. I'm telling you that from what I know, from no source, from the people I know, Deshaun Watson controls the situation down there. He will not show up. Now JJ's gone. They've appeased that situation. Deshaun Watson's the next freaking ball to drop. If you will.
It is. Real quick before we let you go, I know we're a little over, but it's great talking football with you.
I
you
love
talk
it.
about the windows, and the thing about Mitch Trubisky is that because he can't identify, and that's the problem. Like, okay, you're in your 4th year, son. Like, you can't identify this shit. Like, then what's the purpose? Like, there was, and then that's what Laser was so good at. Like, okay, this is what he can't do very well. So we're going to stay away from that, because what happens is, especially if you're in a zone, because you look at it like, well, why are other quarterbacks completing zones against our defense and Mitch can't throw against the zone? And we got a great defense, but Mitch can't throw his zone against his, bottom tier defense. And Mitch, I don't know if he's afraid of throwing it to the open window and having the receiver make the play, because that's what you have to do in a zone. Yeah, because you have to look one way, because you obviously can't stare the zone, the hole that you're going to throw it in. So you look one way, you move the safety one way, and then you come back and you throw it to the spot that the receiver is supposed to be. And sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. He'll catch it, it's dropped, it's intercepted, and the quarterback gets all the praise, or the quarterback gets all the criticism. But you sign up for that when you play quarterback, and you know that. Absolutely. And then you just go to the sideline and say, "Hey, listen, what the hell happened, dude? Why didn't you? You're supposed to do this and this and this. Well, the cornerback, this is okay. From now on, we're going to do this. If this is how the safety is going to play it, then I need you to do this, because I need to throw the ball here. Exactly. So it can stay away from the safety, but you have a chance to get it. And those are the things that Mitch just doesn't get, and it's frustrating, because if after 4 years you would think you would be able to do something like. We can get it, and we're not playing football at the highest level, but we break it down. They're not breaking it down for you, or you just you're just that that you can't get it.
Oh, he was supposed to be a visual learner, Shawn.
So let me show you the safety going away. Let me show you the safety going away, so you throw it away from where the safety's at.
Right. Well, there is several, and that's the problem. It goes back. It's like a freaking chicken or the egg, because the offensive line, the play call, the coach, and there's so much to it that you got to overcome it. And this is the one thing you're tapping into my brain, Shawn. Tom Brady will grab someone by the fucking face mask and say, run your goddamn route or get off the goddamn field. And if you don't have that in here, as well as in here, knowing, like you said, mentally, you're You're processing all this information at that position, but you also have to demand it. You can't have these thugs running the juveniles can't run the prison. You have to run it. And Mitch didn't have that controlled, domineering presence. Like,
because he's not successful. Because
Exactly.
he wasn't successful. He doesn't have the confidence. And I'll tell you what, you know who took it away? Nagy.
Nagy took it away.
Hey,
You're
Phil,
100% right, bro.
We went a little over, man. But we could have sit here and talk till 1 o'clock, dude. Another hour. Me and you would love it. Hey, great stuff, dude. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online. Your shows coming
Follow
up.
us at the Tape Never Lies Network. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Follow our Twitter handle at TTNL Network. Follow me on Instagram. I'm always willing to converse with everybody. Become a patron. We have a patron channel, www.thetapeneverlies network. There's more analysis. Going to be breaking down the draft. In fact, this weekend, we got our new draft show, Shawn, on Sundays every week. It's going to be called The Draft Mob. That's with Marsaw, Atoshin, and Berlissimo across the pond. He is a great analyzer of draft talent as well as the Bears, doing film work. That's where our network stands on the tape. So it's the Draft Mob every Sunday. We just came up with the title. So it's breaking news on your channel right here. Draft Mob every Sundays, the Mafia music. You already can feel my vibe.
Yeah.
These Sunday mornings breaking down all of the draft analysis, quarterbacks, defensive linemen, everything. I was just watching before I came on Trevor Lawrence's pro day, and I was checking him out and getting envious of his talent of what you could have at the quarterback position. So yeah, the Tape Never Lies Network. Find me there on Instagram. Reach out. I can point you in a direction, and that's what I do. That's what I love, and I love coming on with you guys here on your show, your network, SportsZone Chicago. Shawn and Maya in the morning. Although I've never met Maya, I did wish her a happy birthday. I'll do it again. Happy birthday to her. I hope you had the mofongo for me. I think I'm getting mofongo tonight. I've been on a mofongo craze. I had a stomach ache, so I couldn't have any garlic and mofongo. And I found out, Ivan, it's a Puerto Rican dish, apparently, not a Dominican, and there's fighting going on the TT.
Yeah, mofongo, eh?
Everyone's going at each other's throats. It's Caribbean wide, yeah.
So I'm going to probably have some mofongo tonight. I'm going to shout out Shawn later. So thank you guys. Appreciate coming on here, talking football and everything, really, with you guys.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff, man. We'll be in touch soon.
All right, brother.
All right,
bye,
man.
Ivan. Love you, bro.
Love you, Phil. Later.
All right. Hey, listen, that was a draft doctor himself, Phil Atoshin. We got to go, man. We went over, but it was worth it.